Okay, boys and girls, hopefully you now have the perimeter as well as the inside shapes. These are also called negative spaces because of the holes. If you remember, we've had discussion about negative space in architecture when we talk about windows and doors. What you want to do is check to make sure that you've traced all your negative shapes by flipping it over so you can see where you may have missed. And as I'm checking my work, I notice I missed a little triangle that goes right here because I see it on the other 5 points of my snowflake. So before I can go on, I need to flip it back over and make sure that I'm tracing that little triangle. Now it gets a little tricky over the tape. You might have to push in one direction instead of going back and forth, but you want to make sure all those shapes are complete. You also want to make sure that your tape doesn't come off, because once the snowflake comes off, it's very difficult to reposition it. So our next step in our snowflake project is going to be to actually flatten the negative spaces on the inside. You'll notice I have a different tool now. This is a clay tool. Other tools could be colored pencils. You could even use the end of a paintbrush, but you're going to need different tools for different spaces. The way this works is you're going to have to very gently and slowly, again, you don't want to do it too much at once because the metal will stretch and then you can get holes. So I'm going gently around, and right now something called buckling is happening. And buckling, I don't know if you can see this, but right here it's buckling. Buckling is when the metal kind of gets pushed together, almost like it's pushing it up into like a volcano shape. So I might have to take my tool and just push down. Now I want to be careful that I'm not pushing down this part of my snowflake, and I'm only pushing down in the negative spaces. So I'm going to continue to go around, and I'm trying to smooth out this space, and I'm stretching the metal slowly. One thing that you don't want to happen is losing your shape. So now I'm going to come back with the colored pencil and retrace the perimeter of that negative space, because I want to make sure that that oval shape stays an oval. And if I flip it over, you can see that I flattened out that shape. So now I'm going to continue to go around. I might need to switch tools. Again, you can use clay tools. You can continue to use your stylus tool or the end of a paintbrush or a colored pencil like I have. But you want to make sure as you push down that metal in that negative space that you keep tracing around each shape, because you don't want to lose